deprived and heavily caffeinated.
All right, let's do this then.
This is the Jeff and Bill Show.
I don't agree with that.
They don't always agree, but hey, at least they have coffee.
Coffee.
And each other.
I love you, man.
God help us.
I want to bless him. We need all the help we can get.
Now here's Jeff Hunt and Bill Thorpe. The Jeff and Bill Show on News Talk 710 KNUS.
It's 9 a.m. in the Mile High City on this Wednesday, June 25th, 2025. Good morning, Denver, Colorado. You've tuned into the Jeff and Bill Show. News Talk 710 KNUS. Got an absolutely jam-packed hour. We're going to get right to the news because we got Laura Thomas in studio, former Douglas County Commissioner, and then Debbie McElhaney is going to be joining us with the American military family later in the show. So, jam-packed. Let's get to it. Now it's time for News and Comment with Blake Olson.
Blake Olson.
Blake Olson, News and Comment.
Good morning. It's Wednesday, 67. And partly cloudy in Denver, expecting a high of 80 today. The 710 5-day forecast coming up. Our top story.
I mean, we may do papers on it, Marco. Maybe we're going to do papers. I don't even know if you need them. They're not going to be fighting each other. They've had it. They've had a big fight, like two kids in a schoolyard. You know, they fight like hell. You can't stop them. Let them fight for about 2-3 minutes. Then it's easier to stop them.
And then Daddy has to sometimes use strong language.
You have to use strong language. Every once in a while you have to use a certain word.
DJT with the NATO Secretary General. He said Daddy has to use strong language sometimes. And 47 dropped a rare F-bomb yesterday, and it worked. DJT said that Israeli intelligence shows immense damage was done to Iran's nuclear facilities with U.S. strikes. Trump said no one can get into the tunnels where the nuclear sites were, as they are now completely collapsed. The president said the U.S. pilots were brave and completed the mission without issue. This morning at the press conference in the Netherlands, the entertainment returns.
Questions, please? Wow. That's a lot of questions. Who's a nice person? Oh, you're not a nice person, but I'll let you ask one. Go ahead. What's he going to ask? He is not nice at all. I know him well.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Yeah.
Thank you for taking the time before flying home. You just said you believe the conflict between Israel and Iran is over. What makes you so confident it is? And what do you do if it isn't?
Because I dealt with both, and they're both tired, exhausted. They fought very, very hard and very viciously, very violently, and they were both satisfied to go home and get out.
According to CNN, the 47 administration ready to throw out asylum claims and speed up deportations for hundreds of thousands of illegal immigrants. Meanwhile, a vice mayor in Southern California is being investigated. On social media, she's calling out gang members to claim their turf with ICE and come out and help instigate, create chaos. Come on, where are you gang members when we need you?
I want to know where all the cholos are at in Los Angeles. 18th Street, Florencia. Where's the leadership at? Because you guys are all about territory, and this is 18th Street, and this is Florencia. You guys tag everything up, claiming hood. And now that your hood's being invaded by the biggest gang there is, there ain't a peep out of you.
Cynthia Gonzalez says, come on, get out here. Cholos, get out here. Come on, we need you. Get your leadership straight. Get those meetings have got to be more organized. Douglas County voters are soundly rejecting the push to become a home rule county in Tuesday's special election. Kelsey Alexander, former chairwoman of the Douglas County Republicans, says it was made clear they don't want this change.
I think the public in Douglas County is very smart. I think they saw through it and they voted no.
Preliminary results show more than 70% voted no on forming a home rule commission and establishing a charter. Opponents of the measure celebrated, saying people from all political backgrounds united to stop what they called a power grab. Here's George Teal, Douglas County Commissioner.
I didn't hear from them
that they don't want to have the conversation. I heard they need more time. I heard they need more information. I'm not going anywhere. I will be here to provide that information as much as we can.
Congresswoman Lauren Boebert on with Jeff and Billy this morning, talking gray wolves and delisting them in Colorado. That's one of her priorities.
Delisting them from the Endangered Species Act doesn't directly and immediately help Colorado. However, it does allow our neighboring states to take action when this predator crosses those arbitrary boundaries and goes into their states and their areas. The gray wolf has bounced back and forth on and off the Endangered Species Act, even through as far back as Obama. They said that we need about 600 gray wolves for it to be considered fully recovered. Well, we have about 6,000 gray wolves.
Funny how Obama enters the discussion on wolves, one of the greatest wolves in sheep's clothing in the history of the United States. A 37-year-old DoorDash executive has been identified as one of the 8 people who died after a boat capsized on Lake Tahoe over the weekend. Most of the people who died last Saturday afternoon were in their 60s and 70s. This was horrible. The boat capsized near the city
the
of
weather
South
was
Lake.
crazy
Yep.
that came up.
Oh, man.
Looked like it got hit by a
Happened
tornado
quickly.
or something.
Sure did. I mean, it was a beautiful day, and then boom, just hit, man. And I have been in a situation like that just last year. Oh, my God. It just turned to a thunderstorm. You're out in the middle of the lake, and, man, you got to get to the shore. Oh, that is frightening. So, wow, sad story there. Zoran Mamdani is set to be the Democratic candidate for New York City mayor. Mamdani, a Democrat commie socialist, will give New Yorkers higher taxes and social workers instead of police.
On the subject of trust, you've adopted different speaking accents in different scenarios.
But they go to their local bodega.
Is there one that's real and one that's affected?
What I would say is, as any immigrant knows, having been born in Kampala, Uganda, and then raised in South Africa and moving here when I'm 7 years old, is there are different parts of my life.
A worldwide tour is a worldwide tour is a worldwide tour.
Mamdani was talking about a worldwide press tour back when he was a rapper.
Bring the flavor to the fish, bring the flavor to the rice.
It's gracious. Well, at least he doesn't say, oh, wait, what was it? I don't know. No ways. I'm no ways tired. What did Clinton say? I can't even remember now. But
Hillary.
Yeah. So what did she say?
She started speaking.
Now
in
I
the
can't even
black
remember. She said, I'm no ways tired. What am I thinking? But anyway, hopefully he doesn't do that. But what a nightmare. Hopefully he doesn't win. For the sake of New Yorkers. 66 in Aurora, 64 in Boulder, 67 in Denver. Jeff and Billy continue. Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
It's likely going to be another active day of thunderstorms along the Front Range and Eastern Plains. And again, a few could become strong to severe. Temperatures in 70s and low 80s. Thunderstorms rumbling through the evening, then ending lows 50s. Warmer and drier. 80s Thursday, 80s and 90s Friday, and sunny to partly sunny. Thunderstorm chances do return by the weekend, especially by Sunday. Weather sponsored by Colorado's Best Roofing, reminding you to protect your home from the harsh Colorado weather and schedule your free no-obligation roof inspection today at roofingcolorado.com. That's roofingcolorado.com. Meteorologist on Day in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. She was opposed to the effort on home rule in Douglas County in this iteration, but from my understanding in previous conversations, you're not opposed to the idea of home rule entirely. Just this last iteration you felt was not transparent, was rushed, and so you didn't support it. Did I get that right? Laura Thomas, live in studio.
Thank you, Jeff, for the opportunity to be here. Actually, in 2023, the commissioners with then County Attorney Lance Ingalls went through home rule. And I frankly did not see any benefit for Douglas County to do home rule.
So you're opposed to home rule in its entirety ever for Douglas County?
I just don't see a benefit for the taxpayers.
Gotcha. Okay, so it fails yesterday.
It did.
In a big way.
Huge. 71% opposed.
Right. I mean, that's not just a squeaker. That's not like, oh, gosh, we should have just done a little bit better
That's a
in
shellacking.
phone calls. Right. Give us your read. What happened last night?
Jeff, what happened last night was a shellacking. And what happened is the voters in Douglas County, even though it was a $500,000 special election in the middle of the summer, rushed 3 months' notice. The grassroots got energized. They sent a message to these 3 commissioners that you are not going to steamroll us. We are paying attention to what you are doing, and you are not going to pull the wool over our eyes.
Now, looking at the numbers, I'm looking at not just the turnout, which was about a third of the registered voters. It was a little less than 30% of total registered voters. It was 94,000 voters. The presidential election just a few months ago brought out 248,000 voters. So it's almost like a third of that turned out for the presidential. And then I'm looking at the people that were selected. So to understand what happened yesterday was the first question, should we be a home rule county or not? Should we form this charter committee to go out there and create a charter? Yes or no? And then who should be on this charter committee? It also gives us insight as to the reaction that happened yesterday. Strong Democrat support. I point to the at-large commissioners for this charter. Angela Thomas got the most votes. Now, help people understand who Angela Thomas is.
So people get Angela Thomas and Laura Thomas confused. Angela Thomas was the chair of the Douglas County Democrats in 2022 when the Democrats took over House District 43 and a Democrat now runs that seat, Robert Marshall. So Angela takes credit for being in charge of the Democrats in Douglas County when they've won their first Democrat seat. And then Angela was the candidate who ran against George Teal for county commissioner last year in 2024.
And lost that race. But then if this had been successful, she would have been put on the charter commission and won. So was last night a Democratic victory in Douglas County?
I do not see this as a Democrat victory. I see this as a huge Republican failure. The Republican Party is supposed to get Republican candidates elected. It's supposed to support things like lower taxes, smaller government, individual freedom, personal responsibility. And the Republican Party in Douglas County has strayed from that. When they got involved in this home rule disaster, even Dick Wadhams wrote a long column explaining that if this went down like it did last night, the Douglas County Republicans were responsible for it, and it's their failure. If Republicans want Republican government, they need to attract voters by talking about issues that are impressive to them. Telling people we are going to write a charter that puts our values into the charter, so if Democrats take over the county, we still have Republican values in the county. That's not how you win hearts and minds.
Why do you think that didn't work? I mean, to Republicans, that sounds like, well, sure, I want to protect Douglas County from a radically progressive state legislature. So in your mind, why doesn't that message connect with Douglas County voters?
Because it wasn't true. Home rule does not allow a county to tell the state, we don't like that law, we're not going to follow it. There were lots of opportunities. There was the chair of the political science department in Metro did several visits and says, you can't do that. There was an email going around from the Attorney General's office that said you must follow state law. The Constitution, Weld County lost a critical Supreme Court case this year when the Supreme Court says, Weld County, I know you're a home rule county, but you must follow state law. So people were engaged. They figured out the truth.
Gotcha. So you think that the proponents of this, George Teal, Abe Layden, Kevin Van Winkle, said things that weren't true about home rule, and people saw through it, and that was part of the rejection?
That was part of the problem. And throughout this, Douglas County had their county attorney, Jeff Garcia, going around the county telling people, hey, we don't have to follow state law. So I think part of the problem is there's an incompetent county attorney that needs to be addressed as well.
That's Laura Thomas. She's a former Douglas County commissioner. She was opposed to home rule. Last night, the election results, home rule going down 71% to 28% in Douglas County. Well, you've run and you've won in Douglas County. You've run and you've lost before in Douglas County. What do Republicans need to do to ensure Republican control in Douglas County? Is this a harbinger of the fact that, or the belief that maybe Democrats are gaining control in Douglas County? What do you think?
Again, I think it's Republicans are losing control. And what we need to do is next year there will be an election for a new county commissioner for the Parker and Lone Tree area. The Republicans need to find a candidate who has a proven track record of governing well, of listening to the public and knowing that his or her job is to represent the public, not to institute his or her will. And so we need to start finding candidates and supporting candidates that will do our work into the future, not their own.
Now, last night, Shad, the chairman of the Democrats here in Colorado, claiming a lot of victory to what happened yesterday in Douglas County and his turnout operation. I don't live in Douglas County. Did you see Republicans out there? Did you see Republicans pushing their agenda with home rule as effectively as Democrats were? Do you think it was a turnout issue?
I have to tell you, I have been involved in lots of campaigns over the years. Yeah. And because I was part of the nonpartisan No on Home Rule operation, I was amazed at how the Democrats were organized and how they were able to get their message out. They worked hard. It was impressive.
Yeah. And so in your mind, then, it's a combination of both message and operations that the Republicans are not doing well at in Douglas County. They're polling in and almost being too partisan on the values side, not getting back to some of the basics on lower taxes, lower regulations that appeal to center-right Colorado voters. And then operationally, the Republicans in Douglas County are not where they need to be.
I think that's true. The Douglas County Republican Party is very divisive. I was just looking at, I posted last night that this was a great win for the citizens of Douglas County. And a very vocal Douglas County Republican posted something really nasty on my page. And that's the kind of stuff that people look at and think, I don't want to be a part of that.
Where do you see Douglas County going in these next elections? You mentioned, is the one up for the county commissioner, is that Abe Layden's seat?
It is.
Okay, so Abe's turned out. There's going to be a new person in there. To your point, they need to be vetted ahead of time. They need to be experienced. They need to know how to win elections. And then they can possibly, Republicans can keep that county commissioner seat in conservative hands. Because, as you mentioned, that was in Parker. Is Parker as conservative as it used to be?
You know, I don't live in Parker. I don't know what Parker is.
Right.
But what I do know is we need to find a candidate who has governed well. If they've governed well in the past, they can govern well in the future. And that's the kind of person that will go out there and people will think, I want that person to represent me.
Now, one of the critiques I've heard about Douglas County is that we've overdeveloped it with high-density multifamily. It's brought in a certain demographic voter that's not necessarily conservative, right? And so it's becoming more city, less rural. And as it becomes more city, it's getting more Democrat. From your perspective, does the housing development, the multifamily, the increased population of Douglas County contribute to the equation, the formula that it's now becoming bluer than it used to maybe 20 years ago?
You know what, before we answer that question, we need to ask ourselves, do we believe in private property rights? Mm-hmm. And if a property owner wants to develop their property and it meets what the comprehensive master plan allows, if we're Republicans, we want to support private property rights. And so we need to support those kinds of developments. And again, the Republican Party needs to be, when I first got involved in the Republican Party, when there was a new development, we would go out and knock on doors and tell people, hi, my name's Laura, I'm a Republican. I'd like to invite you to be part of our organization. And I don't know if they do that anymore, but this has got, what I learned in this campaign, Jeff, is it was person to person. The amount of door knocking that went on was amazing. The amount of phone calls that went on, that was how this election went down, was because of those personal contacts. And I think that's what we've missed.
That's Laura Thomas. She's a former county commissioner from Douglas County. She was against home rule going down in big numbers yesterday. Feel free to join the conversation. You can text us at 720-819-5115, 720-819-5115, or give us a call at 303-696-1971. Laura, what do you think that the current county commissioners, George, Abe, and Kevin, should learn from last night's results?
Wow. You know, for a long time, we all have seen the commissioners shutting down commissioner citizen comment. And even at one of the town halls, Layden told deputies that they were going to have to, could get involved because people were demanding answers. These commissioners need to start listening to the people they represent. This isn't about the agendas they want to get done. It's about representing the people who elected them. And that's where they need to turn around what they're doing and start engaging with the public.
Strong words from Laura Thomas, former Douglas County Commissioner, upon yesterday's vote on home rule. So where do you think the county goes from here? Do you see those county commissioners adjusting like you mentioned? Do you think they'll dig in their heels? Do you see continued divisiveness within the Republican Party? Do you think this might be a wake-up call for Republicans to maybe drop some of the divisiveness and get down to just bare bones winning elections and doing what's necessary to make sure there's more R's than there are D's? Because we've got school boards coming up. We've got some big elections coming up. What do you think is going to happen this November?
So there was an absolute repudiation yesterday for the Douglas County Commissioners and the Republican Party. That needs to be turned around. But yet last night I saw video of Teal saying, we didn't give the voters enough time to learn about home rule, so we're going to bring it back. Well, George, you are the guys who shortened this up to a 90-day runway. That was on you. Even last night, he said he's bringing it back. This morning on another radio station, I heard him say he's bringing it back. People don't want it brought back. And there's a state law that says there has to be a year cooling off period before it comes back. I have yet to hear them own this decision and say, wow, we made a mistake. We did not represent our public, and we're going to do better in the future.
Laura Thomas, former Douglas County Commissioner, joining the Jeff and Bill Show upon the vote yesterday with home rule. Do you see other areas wanting to pursue home rule after this? Do you think it sent a message to other counties?
You know, we heard the commissioner saying, boy, counties are calling us and they want to join us. But there was a really interesting video out there from the Teller County commissioners. A citizen came to them and said, we want you to do home rule. And all three of those commissioners, Williams, Campbell, and Stone, said, you know, Douglas County is going to learn that home rule is not what they think it is, and it's not worth pursuing. And I think people are going to recognize that.
I think a lot of the basis for the concern and willingness to want to have home rule was rooted in the progressive overreach of the Colorado State Capitol, right? They're losing their Second Amendment rights. Regulations coming up. Now you're going to end up with a light rail, and development all around the light rail. So people going, they're just pushing their leftist agenda on us all the time. What do you say to the voters of Douglas County who want some reprieve from what the state capitol is doing? What's the best way for them to achieve that?
Look, as a county commissioner, I push back on the Gold Dome year after year after year, and I'm sick of it. But there are rules to a game, and if you want to play the game, you have to follow the rules. And the rules are that if you want to govern, you need to win elections. And if you want to win elections, you have to go out and meet with people. You need to press the flesh. You need to talk to people. You need to gain their trust. And that's how we are going to start winning elections again.
Now, you have a storied career in Douglas County. Coroner, county commissioner for 2 terms, I believe, right? So what about your future? Where do you see yourself going after all this?
You know, I've been looking forward to some retirement time. I was with State Patrol for 26 years. I was a state trooper in Douglas County for 7 years. I love Douglas County. I bought my house when I was a major in Durango. That's how much I believed in Douglas County. And there will maybe be another opportunity to do something good for Douglas County in some position. And that's what I think I did in this election. I helped people understand what commissioners can already do. They don't need home rule to lower our property taxes. So when God's ready for me to do something, I know I'll find it out.
So it's not totally off the table. You're not into retirement. If something opens up, Laura Thomas will be back looking to serve the good people of Douglas County. Well, thank you for taking time to come in, join Bill and I, and give us your reflections on yesterday's election in Douglas County. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Again, this victory belongs to the people of Douglas County. 30% showed up to vote yesterday. That's huge.
Yeah. Wow. All right. Thank you. We'll continue. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710 KNUS. Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. We are so glad that you've been spending a little bit of your time with us, and we're going to change gears a little bit. Thank you so much for Laura Thomas spending time with us to talk about the idea of home rule and why in the heck it went down to such a monumental defeat yesterday. Got a number of text messages and callers. Appreciate that. But now we are going to spend a little bit of time with Debbie McElhaney. You might have just heard about a special event coming up at the Douglas County Fairgrounds Saturday, July 12th. Good morning, Deb. Good morning, Deb.
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good. Thank you so much. Celebration that is going to take place starting July 11th.
You know, after 20 years, our sole mission has been the prevention of veteran and first responder suicide. That's not an easy topic to sell, but it's a desperately needed one and important one. And we're hosting the 20th anniversary at the Douglas County Fairgrounds on Saturday, July 12th. The audience will be full with a lot of those veterans that were struggling and we call it from suicidal to successful. They'll be joining us. We'll not only be entertaining them and having them celebrate what's happened for our charity, but we'll also be doing an intrusive intervention during that few days that we'll be together. The bottom line is it's imperative. You've got less than 0.5% of the country who serves. To the other 99.5% who have that privilege of not understanding what that's like, it's imperative in my mind that we get the word out and have people, those 99.5% of the population, come out and see what we do, come out and see the heroes that we take care of. And I'm very honored to have that opportunity, and it's a great moment for us to celebrate 20 years and the success of the program. So I'm excited.
That's Debbie McElhaney, founder and CEO of American Military Family. Now, they're hosting their 20th year celebration coming up July 11th and 12th at the Douglas County Fairgrounds. We highly encourage you to go out there, hang out with them. There's going to be a raffle. There's going to be a silent auction, a live auction. Special guest out there, Congressman Jeff Crank is going to be there. Also, there's an MC. You might have heard his name before. This guy, Stefan Tubbs. Yeah, spent some time here on KNUS and now working with the Drug Enforcement Administration. He's going to be there. John Teagan is presenting an Apex AR-15 rifle to be raffled off. So there's a lot of really cool things. Again, this is the Douglas County Fairgrounds, Saturday, July 12th. There's also an event going on Friday, the 11th. You can check it out online. American Family Military. We'll give you the website here in just a bit.
AmericanMilitaryFamily.org.
Thank you. I messed it up.
AmericanMilitaryFamily.org.
Now, Debbie, what I want to know from you is talk to us about the foundation of American Military Family. Why did you create this organization, and can you tell our listeners about what you do?
Well, it's actually kind of crazy, but at the end of the day, I started the charity in honor of my brother who served in Vietnam.
Hey, Debbie, hang on a second. I've got a bit of an echo here. Hang on here. I'm going to see if I'm going to bring it down in a second. I'm going to try this. Okay, Debbie, try again.
Try again. Yeah, I do the echo myself.
It's like one of those mirrors.
Yeah, I'm
that
stuck
just,
in a loop
you
there.
can see it forever and ever.
Yeah,
it
this
goes
is
up.
not okay. Tell me, this is silly. Okay, we've got an echo going on here, Debbie. What I'm going to do, Debbie, is hang out with me for a second. Jeff, I'm going to need you to maybe read a live or something. I'm going to see if I can find a different way to connect with Debbie. Hang on a second.
Okay, great. And this is so important. It's worth figuring out the technical issue. All right, let's talk L&L heating and air conditioning, guys. It's going to be hot this weekend, 92 on Friday, 94 on Saturday. If your air conditioner line's like freezing up or maybe can't handle, or your home's not getting to the coolness that you need it to with all this heat, well, we have the solution for you. It's the good folks at L&L Heating and Air Conditioning, a small locally owned company that is really delivering quality service and quality products. They came out to our house, put in a whole new AC and furnace, and they absolutely delivered for us. 1-day installation, no stress, personal service from start to finish. They followed up to make sure everything was perfect. Our home totally comfortable no matter what the weather. And with L&L Heating and Air Conditioning, we even got more peace of mind. Listen to the deals they got going on. A free programmable thermostat or carbon monoxide detector with new furnace or air conditioner installation, no emergency charges, a $0 trip fee, price match value guarantee on equipment, free estimates, licensed and insured, and a 5-year labor warranty. Everything works great. Our family couldn't be happier. So if you're looking for fast, honest, and reliable service, I highly recommend L&L Heating and Air Conditioning, 720-851-1691, online at bestdenverhvac.com. bestdenverhvac.com. I'm sure glad we called him. That number again, 720-851-1691. Billy, take it away.
Yeah, thank you
Debbie.
so much. I think we figured it out with Debbie McElhaney. We're talking to Debbie. She's the founder and CEO of American Military Family. And the reason that we're joining her today is because they have a fantastic 20-year celebration coming up Friday, July 11th and Saturday, July 12th. It's happening at the Douglas County Fairgrounds. Now listen, Brian Talley, a USMC veteran, national veteran advocate, is going to be there. He's the creator of the Tally Bill. Ray Cashcare, former Navy SEAL peak performance coach, going to be there. We've got John Tig of Benghazi fame, local hero. He's going to be there auctioning off an Apex AR-15 rifle. I've heard this guy, Stefan Tubbs. I don't know. I've heard of him somewhere. He's going to be there being the MC. So KNUS is really happy to get this opportunity to share with you what the great work an American Military Family is doing. So, Debbie, when we were interrupted by that really weird echo thing that was happening, we were talking about how American Military Family was created. How did it come into being? You're the founder and CEO. What was it that God had placed on your heart that you're like, this is a mission, this is what I'm called to do, I need to found this organization? Tell us about that journey.
I appreciate it very much, you guys. Thank you. You know, the bottom line is it started for me during the height of the Iraq War. My brother and his friends went to Nam, and they went to Nam. They just never really came back home. They were alive. They just never came back home. I've been estranged from my brother for a lifetime. I wanted to start a charity to do something. You know, you have less than 0.5% of the population who serves, and respectfully to the other 99.5% who have that privilege, they need to understand what it's like to have those American heroes, our veterans, first responders, and their families, the kind of price they pay. And so we started out early. We were blessed to have the initiative for the Colorado Support the Troops license plate. Took a couple of years of our time to get that initiative passed, but at the end of the day, we were awarded the bill. And to date, that bill has raised over $500,000, with 93% of every dollar going directly back to the Colorado military and their family. You know, it was important to me to see that welcome home, that thank you ribbon, because they never got that thank you. It's kind of deplorable the way we treat America's heroes, and at the end of the day, we're reaching out to those people that do love and appreciate, respect them, and we're asking them to come out and join and celebrate with us at Douglas County Fairgrounds, the Salute to America's Heroes event. It is our fundraiser, but at the end of it, it's really about those who are coming. We do intrusive interventions over the years. We actually bring in veterans who have the skill to locate lost, struggling, missing, suicidal veterans. They use their skills learned in the military. We track them, literally boots on the ground, anywhere throughout the country, and then bring them through a 2-year program. We break them to get them to understand that they don't have to continue to live in isolation. They don't have to live with the 7 triggers that we have attributed to the high incidence of veteran suicide. Let me be candid. They say 22 veterans a day succumb to veteran suicide. We say it's a lot more. We address the 7 triggers, which start out with a traumatic brain injury, led always by post-traumatic stress disorder. They self-medicate, they isolate, the drugs, the alcohol. They've got to get into treatment to get on top of those things. That leads to relationship dissonance, marriages breaking apart, children being separated from their parents. And then at the end of the day, the Veterans Administration, they really need to do a better job of taking care of these cases and getting their money that they've well earned and deserved without making them fight for it and winding up killing themselves at the doors of the VA centers throughout the country. I sound angry because I am, and I'm appealing to your audience to say, help us do something about it. Come join us. Come look at those faces of those American heroes and come celebrate a great evening with us. We welcome the opportunity to grow our quick reaction force team. We're looking for more struggling veterans and first responders that need a mission, who are now isolated because of their own medical issues, et cetera, but they still have a capacity to lead, and we're looking to bring them on board too. So thank you guys, both you, Jeff and Bill, for the opportunity to speak to your audience and let them learn a little more about what we've been doing for the last 20 years.
Debbie, that passion was so powerful. That's Debbie McElhaney. You can sense in her a real heart for our vets. She's the founder and CEO of American Military Family. Their 2-day celebration coming up July 11th and 12th. It's going to be a golf tournament on July 11th and then Saturday, July 12th at the Douglas County Fairgrounds. All of this at AmericanMilitaryFamily.org. AmericanMilitaryFamily.org. Got a great lineup coming. Guys, this is a great opportunity to support our vets. Man, you've really inspired me, Debbie, with your passion for this. I wonder, is it a challenge to kind of break through the military warrior exterior and this idea of I can just handle this? The challenges I'm dealing with, I can take care of it by myself, and reach those vets with the idea that finding help in community with other vets is sometimes the best way to solve the challenges they're facing. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I can answer that with, why do you think the incidence of veteran suicide is so high? It's because they do isolate. It's because they don't feel comfortable sharing those stories. The only people they feel comfortable sharing those stories with are others who have served and understood that sacrifice and understood what they had to go through. You can't talk to a female civilian and expect her to understand it. I happen to be a female civilian, by the way. I just came from a school that said everybody in my family served, and I don't know that people can really understand the compromise and sacrifice that the family pays. That's why the charity is named American Military Family, because the entire family serves. And that's grandparents and aunts and uncles and siblings and brothers, sisters, you name it. Everybody serves. But again, they only equal the less than 0.5%. We do have a voluntary draft now, unlike the days of Vietnam. And if you want to talk about an atrocity, how could you treat your own people that did their job, took that pledge, stepped up and did it, and then leave them hanging? And I feel like we've done that. And that's why we started the charity. It grew into this. I'm incredibly proud of what we've accomplished. And it works. It works, but they've got to talk to their own. They're not going to open up and talk to somebody that will never understand what they've been through. They need to talk to like-minded people. Last point. I spent the first few years of this charity burying kids from the 4th Infantry Division at Fort Carson, Colorado. I had a great privilege to work under the command general who happened to lose 2 of his children, one to suicide and 6 months later to an IED in Iraq. He understands it because they've lived that nightmare. And he's gone on to open a program called Vets for Warriors. To your veterans out there, vets4warriors.org, because they're guaranteed to get a veteran answer your call. You don't want to call AMFGY6, American Military Family? Then call Vets for Warriors. You're not alone.
Wow. It's so important for people to hear. Debbie McElhaney, founder and CEO of American Military Family. Check out the great event they have coming up July 11th and 12th in support of vets at AmericanMilitaryFamily.org. AmericanMilitaryFamily.org. Now, Debbie, last question from me. What's your message to the vet out there that is thinking, I'm going to go to the bar Friday night, July 11th? Or I'm going to go to the bar Saturday,
answer.
July 12th. Why should they come to your event instead of ignoring this?
So I can tell you 3 weeks ago, and I want everybody to listen to this true story. 3 weeks ago, one of my veterans that we've been working with for many years was struggling, and he kept fighting to get the help. Married, 14-year-old daughter. At the end of the day, he texted me to say, I'm struggling, I'm this, I'm that, and I said, pick up that damn phone and call me. I need to hear your voice. And he wrote back, I can't. And an hour later, he was dead. You have to reach out. You have to stop living in your head. You have to stop isolating. And until they decide to do that, They don't understand. You're giving me this opportunity today to get that message out to them. You don't have to be alone anymore. And there are incredible resources for treatment of traumatic brain injury, drug, alcohol, PTSD, isolation, and it's all focused and specialized for veterans and first responders. To the law enforcement community, you don't need to live like this. You don't need to live like this anymore. Reach out. There are incredible resources out there. You want to call me? 303-746-8195. I'll give you the best resources in the country. It'll be your job to pursue it. And find your new normal. Quit digging your holes. Find your new normal. Reach out.
Taking our veterans and first responders from suicidal to successful. That's the mission of American Military Family. You can check them out at AmericanMilitaryFamily.org. You can hear the passion of Debbie McElhaney, founder and CEO of American Military Family. That's why KNUS and the Jeff and Bill Show is so excited to get behind the 20th year celebration. This is vitally needed. So you can check out the wonderful celebration that they have going on. You can participate in the golf tournament that is happening Friday, July 11th at the Ridge at Castle Pines, or hang out with them at the Douglas County Fairgrounds Saturday, July 12th. You might know this guy is Stephen Tubbs is going to be the MC. You know the name John Tig Teagan from Benghazi. He's going to be there, and he's auctioning off an Apex AR-15 rifle. You've got Brian Talley, USMC veteran, National Veteran Advocate. You've got Ray Cash Care, former Navy SEAL, and others. This is a wonderful celebration, and special guest Congressman Jeff Crank is there as well. Jeff and Bill, so supportive of this one. This is a wonderful, wonderful involvement, way to involve and way to give back to the people that have been giving up the ultimate sacrifice to make sure that our freedoms are defended. Debbie, I am not wired to go out there and to serve, and I have the utmost respect for everybody that does. It's something that I couldn't do. I know that about myself, and we have to support those that do. Thank you for your time today. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I do as well.
Thanks. Have a great day.
Oh man, she goes right at the heart,
I love
doesn't
her.
she?
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Wow, that's awesome.
God,
thank
that's
you,
hard.
Debbie.
Yeah,
got me. All right,
too, man.
We'll continue. You're listening to Jeff and Bill.
Is it dust in here? This is Denver's talk leader, News Talk 710 KNUS. Support them.
conversation with Debbie McElhaney, the founder and CEO of American Military Family. Again, a reminder, their 2-day celebration and 20th year celebration is coming up very soon, July 11th and 12th. July 11th is a golf tournament. July 12th is time at the Douglas County Fairgrounds. Special guest Jeff Crank will be there, as well as former Navy SEALs, military Marine veterans, former Navy SEAL peak performance coach Ray Cash Care, and then John Tig Teagan. I like him.
Yeah, and some talk
guy.
show host guy.
And then Stephen Tubbs.
Drug Enforcement Administration. Yeah, he's going to be there. And again,
DAA
check out tickets.
now.
Check out tickets at